I just want to piggyback on something real quick. The Homie 78 just dropped a video discussing about the pay-per-view numbers with Gennady Golovkin or whatever. And let me be the first to tell you that I'm not surprised. I am not surprised by the least bit that those numbers weren't as good as they were hoping or maybe even expected. First of all, it's only so long you can fool the public. I was telling everybody that Lemieux was there as an opponent. He wasn't there or looked at as somebody that could beat Triple G. He was a guy that had a belt that they felt they can market against Triple G. Hey, he's a hard puncher, this, that, and the third. I mean, a lot of casuals fell for it. Like, I had random people that don't follow the sport asking me about this fight. And I told them straight up, like, hey, this guy doesn't have a chance against Triple G. I'll be surprised if it goes past 6 rounds. And it went a little past 6 rounds. It went 8 rounds, but still, I didn't lie to them. I didn't lie to them whatsoever. Now, you have people that want to be Triple G fans or are fascinated by Triple G, you know? And this is what you offer them. This is what you offer them. And truth be told, as well as this fight, well, as much as they marketed this fight, the only name that they always pick with Triple G isn't even Andre Ward. It's Floyd Mayweather. Where I think Triple G has a shot against Mayweather. First of all, I don't see Mayweather ever doing business with HBO again. Second of all, the man is retired. He's retired. So is this how you want to market Triple G? Is like the guy that could have fought and beat Mayweather? I'm so sick of hearing Floyd's name. It's ridiculous. But yet they're carrying it on. Trying to attach to Triple G. No, put him in against people that he can make his name against. David Lemieux wasn't one of those people. I'm sorry, he wasn't. As much as you wanted to market him as such a hard puncher and a true test and challenge, people don't forget, this guy got stopped by Rubio. He got stopped. The same Rubio that Triple G stopped. If that wasn't the wrong opponent to have in front of a guy that you're trying to push to the moon, I don't know who would be. That should have been a normal HBO fight. That's what I told everybody. Should have been a normal HBO fight. You should have just broadcasted it on your channel instead of pay-per-view. They're going about this whole marketing Triple G process. If I was Triple G, I would question my team. I would start questioning them. And I would ask more questions. Unless he's just truly afraid of Andre Ward, the Andre Ward fight would have shot Triple G to the moon if he had won. But you don't know whether you're going to win or lose unless you step in the ring. The numbers that you're going to get against Lemieux failed in comparison to what you would have done with Andre Ward. Now, truth be told, that Andre Ward fight is probably out the window because he's moving up to light heavyweight. Heyman who's next? Andy Lee. You can market a unification bout with Andy Lee. Andy Lee's willing to fight him. In fact, I would dare say Andy Lee would have probably been a better match than Lemieux because Andy Lee actually can box. Even though I would favor Triple G over Andy Lee, I would have felt that was a better match. But outside of Andy Lee, who else can you get this guy to fight at 160? Heyman has the other two guys that might seem kind of, feasible. But outside of that, I mean, who can you fight? The pool ain't so big with HBO. It really isn't. At 160, the pool really isn't so big. You can maybe market a Chris Eubank Jr. Fight, which I think he has like the interim WBA title. And Danny Jacobs has like the regular world title or something like that at 160. But the fact of the matter is the guy should have fought Andre Ward. They should have been in a negotiation. They should have got off their high horse and put Triple G in there. Because win or lose, all right, you go up to 168, you lose to Andre Ward, cool. You're still a marketable name. You come back down to 160 and you clear out 160. All right, I went up to 168. Lost to Andre Ward, fine. But it got my name out there. It got more eyes on me. I'm back at 160. I'm clearing out the division. Andre Ward eventually is going to move up to 175, which he's about to do now. Go back up to 168. Easily. At 168, you can set up fights with James DeGale. You know, you could take up your first fight can be somebody like George Groves or somebody like that. You got Badu Jack up there. You know what I'm saying? You got a couple of names at 168 when you were ready to move up to 168. That should have been their way of thinking. Let's get this money while we can. Because truth be told, and a lot of people were saying it, and I'm saying it myself, there isn't a guarantee that this guy is going to see Canelo or Cotto within the next year. There isn't a guarantee he's going to see either one of them at all. Not a guarantee whatsoever. If you ask me, I would favor that they may be, whoever wins that fight may just drop that belt. They may just drop it. These guys have more options than Triple G right now. They can make marketable fights with guys from, especially Canelo at 154. Look how many names are at 154 right now. I don't know, man. I don't know. I like Triple G. I really do. I think he's exciting for the sport. But the way they're going about marketing this guy right now, I mean, if the pay-per-view numbers come back the way that the homie 7-8 just said they was gonna come back or whatever, it's sad. It's sad. It failed because they're trying to push something on people that people just weren't buying. People weren't into it whatsoever. You can only fool the public for so long, you know? Yeah, you were kind of getting away with a couple of fights with Pacquiao, this, that, and the third, but Triple G doesn't have that appeal that Pacquiao had, you know? You gotta start putting these guys in. I can't knock their upcoming fight schedule because they got some pretty exciting fights coming up pretty soon. I can't knock the upcoming fight schedule, but if you're trying to make this dude the cornerstone of what you're trying to do at HBO, that Andre Ward fight should have been signed, sealed, and delivered by now. I don't care if you had to talk this guy into doing it or whatever, but that fight right there would have shot both of those. Both of them. You just signed Andre Ward for a 3-fight deal. Andre Ward knows, hey, I got Kovalev coming up pretty soon. Who does Triple G have coming up pretty soon? That's a guarantee. Because like I said, Canelo and Cotto, those aren't guarantees. They're not guarantees whatsoever. I haven't heard anything about a stipulation in either one of their contracts saying that, hey, you got to fight Triple G. Unlike what you're doing with Kovalev, which I always seen that Ward was going to fight Kovalev. I already seen that. I already knew that. Before said it is all said and done, if one Andre Ward gets past Kovalev, don't be surprised if he tries to go after Stevenson next. That's the kind of mentality that Andre Ward has. But obviously, Triple G doesn't have that mentality. I mean, he should have struck with an Ernest Hodge. He had a failed fight with Chavez Jr. He had a failed fight with Carl Froch. Those were two opportunities at 168, might I add, that he could have taken, and he didn't. Now that ship has sailed on Andre Ward, at least for the time being, which I think is completely sailed. So, because I don't see Andre Ward coming back down to 168 just to fight Triple G anymore. So what are you going to do now? Right now, you're at a big question mark. And if you don't get Canelo and Cotto next, then where are you going to go? Who are you going to fight? Now you got to make an opponent for him, or a opponent for him. Excuse me. You got to make somebody up. You got to kind of make him that opponent more appealing than Triple G, and that's going to be a hard thing to do in a weak 160 division right now, because I don't see any guys from 154 and 160 that seem like a logical pay-per-view opponent for Triple G. But that's just my opinion.